Hey everyone, Dan Kelly here, founder and senior partner at the Negotiator Guru, which in short we call TNG. Thanks so much for checking us out. In this quick video, I'm going to provide you a quick overview of the company, go through our standard high-level overview deck from my home here in Arizona. So I hope you gain some knowledge from this video, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. We're doing this, quite frankly, because we've had quite a bit of volume increase over the last few years, and we just don't have enough sales resources to handle all of our initial exploratory calls. We actually turn down more clients than we accept, only because we specifically focus on those clients in which we know we can drive a huge impact, both from a reputation as well as a resource allocation perspective. In this slide here, you can see we're recognized as one of the fastest growing privately owned companies in the Midwest. We are the second fastest growing company in Minnesota, which I'm very proud of, and number 15 on the Inc. 5000 overall for the Midwest. So we're very proud of that accomplishment. And we've done it because of our wonderful clients, obviously. Some reasons why I personally started the firm. I believe clients should pay the same price for the same product, assuming they're of like-sized companies. That's why you see that little asterisk there. Obviously, a 100-person company won't pay the same as a 100,000-person company for the same type of software, just based on annual contract value. But we believe that you should be empowered to know what rates you should be paying. And we have that level of detail because we have hundreds and hundreds of contract data behind the works here. And that's how we're able to create target prices specifically for your company, based on your industry, based on your client size, aka your annual revenue, as well as your annual contract value, the value that you have with your supplier or your vendor, like a Salesforce or a Microsoft. So we believe you should pay the same price. You should be empowered to know what you should be paying. Even if you can't get to that target rate, we want you to know what you should be paying. And number three, often overlooked, but know what to look for in contracts to eliminate any risk before they actually arise. 8 out of 10 contracts that we see have unique contract risks in them to the actual client. That's especially the case with software as a service contracts. Don't let anyone tell you that software as a service contracts are all the same. They're absolutely not. So I'm going to quickly go through this slide deck in the interest of getting through the material quickly in the interest of your time. However, if you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out to us, to our team, via the contact us form below. So we are a team of IT sourcing contract experts, contract negotiation experts. We specifically focus on Salesforce, Microsoft, Oracle, and Workday on our top four. Those are our top four highest negotiations. Our performance so far, we've saved companies $426 million in cash. We've negotiated $15 billion worth of deals, aka the contract value, right? $15 billion worth of deals. And we have 232 clients. Again, this is about a quarter old in 2019, so that all these numbers have increased slightly. We have 3 different ways to engage us. I started the company purely with the interest of providing full negotiation support for clients. That was successful. It's how we got to where we are. However, we have a lot of clients that come up to us that have their own established sourcing teams. They think they know what they're doing. They're comfortable doing it, or they just don't want to pay someone else to do it, but they still want to gain our expertise. And so we developed 2 different self-service options you'll see on the bottom right here, just by title. The first is right price benchmarking, and the second is contract review. So I'm going to switch over to the next slide quickly, and we're going to cover what these mean. The full negotiation support is just as it sounds. It's a done-for-you negotiation service where we'll either act as your legal agent to negotiate the deal for you, or we'll act as a silent advisor in the background. A lot of people ask us what's more common. We'll tell you the larger the company we work with, and we typically work with companies $1 billion or higher in annual revenue. So those type of clients typically want us to be a silent advisor in the background, just telling them what to say, when to say, how to say it, based on our knowledge of the playbooks that these companies use. Over to the right here, the right price benchmarking, this is intentionally a self-service option because a lot of companies just come up to us and ask, We just want to know what we should be paying based on um, your benchmark data. A lot of people have benchmark data. What makes ours different is if you go to Gartner or anyone else, they're going to say what's considered a best in class. Best in class is very easily defeated by your sales team because they're going to say, well, that's best in class. That's if you're a Johnson and Johnson and not a 1,000-person company, something like that, right? We know we can tell you exactly down to the dollar what you should be paying per price per unit on any of your SKUs. If we can't, we will tell you we can't, but 9 times out of 10, we'll be able to tell you exactly what you should be paying. So that typically is used by our small and medium business customers, as well as our enterprise customers who feel like they have the capability to negotiate it correctly. They just want as much data as possible to get the best deal. And then the farthest to the right, you'll see this contract risk review. Um, this is specifically for those companies that want us to review those contracts to eliminate risks, both in their language that is in the contract that they've negotiated, but they just at the T's and C's review process. It's also to identify the language that's not in the actual contract itself. Very easy. It's easy, sometimes easier to identify what the language is saying and how it might create a risk. But it's very difficult unless you do this on a daily basis to identify what language is not in your contract that can provide that extra layer of support and protection for your company for years to come. In this timeline, or in the slide, you can see the timelines here. Our full negotiation support typically lasts between 1 and 3 months. Right price benchmarking and the risk review can be accomplished within a week's time, no more. Right, our turnaround time is very quick with that. So our process for the full negotiation support, we start with discovery. This is our 4-step process we go through every single time with all of our clients across all of our team members. We start with discovery. We basically identify where you've been and where you're going with this specific platform, right? Then we go into the right size and right price process. You have heard of the right price process by this time because this is specifically our target benchmarking rates based on your specific industry and company. The right sizing is really identifying what you need and what you don't. This is a very common problem. We'll talk more about it on the next slide. But 9 times out of 10, you are paying for a capability that you're not actually using to its fullest extent or don't need at all, right? Your third point here is negotiation. I had mentioned this a little earlier in the conversation. We can either negotiate the deal on your behalf or we can act as a silent advisor in the background. Again, larger the company, more we're acting as a silent advisor to this point. We get that question a lot, so I just want to raise that here. But the choice is up to yours. We'll guide you as well, depending on your specifics. And then the fourth item is contract execution. This is our contract risk review and mitigation process. We'll work directly with your legal team if you'd like us to identify those risks and to mitigate them as much as possible. We'll also create a nice executive summary for you to share with your C-level executives and or other stakeholders and board members to showing the outcome of the negotiation. Our strategy, how our strategy works, it's specifically this right sizing and right pricing. Right pricing is pretty clear. I'm not going to talk about that too much. You can read it on this slide as well. The right sizing, I want to really focus on that underutilized licenses. Part of our secret sauce is actually having architects on our team as well. So not just negotiators, expert negotiators from a sourcing perspective, but we actually know from an architectural perspective what you can do and what you can't in these major platforms. So we've both hired service providers that have implemented these platforms into a company like yours. We've also hired actual architects from these software companies that have come work for us full time, as well as salespeople, right, from these companies. So that, quite frankly, just wanted to work on the other side of the table because they know the opportunity is there. So that's who we've attracted. That's who likes to work with us. And quite frankly, it's why we're a very lethal team here, because we can not only provide you the negotiation strategy and the playbooks, but actually give you a look inside the company, inside of the suppliers, where your opportunity lies. Only an external supplier would be able to, like us, would be able to do that as a consultant. You as the client negotiating these deals maybe once every year, just it's not realistic. You'll have that level of transparency. So I'll go to the next slide quickly. We have 2 primary compensation options. One is a flat project fee. We call it an advisory fee. 50% due up front, 50% due at the end. This advisory fee is calculated purely based on what your annual contract value is of the contract you'd like our support negotiating. We don't make it up every time like most consulting firms. We simply have a pricing playbook that specifically identifies what you should be paying based on this a range of your contract value. So very simple for us to calculate because we literally just pull it from a playbook here that we have. Pay for performance, again, just for context, this is why I started the company. We take 75% of year one savings. We'll talk about that a little bit more. The point being here is that this is your least risk option, if you will, to ensure value. That's how we designed it. However, we do require a non-refundable deposit up front, which is just a small percentage of what we expect to achieve from the negotiation. I'm going to hop into the next slide here quickly to show you how it works. Very simple. Most of our software deals are 3 years, sometimes 1, sometimes 5. Majority of industry standard is a 3-year deal. So using that as an example, we would take 75% of your year 1 savings. You'd keep 25%, and you'd keep 100% of years 2 and 3. Right? Very simple. This model, maybe you've worked with other firms that have done a contingency type of fee arrangement. The industry standard is really to do 25% per year, right? We've accelerated that to just take a first year snapshot. That is purely based on client demand of how they'd like to actually calculate the savings, just from an ease of administration, as well as just have to write a check one time, right? So it makes it easy for everybody. More often than not, this model actually decreases our savings, decreases our incentive payout. We've done this purely just to be quite frankly, good to our clients. The growth, generally speaking, if you're a growth company, comes in years 2 and 3. We're not calculating, our savings incentive is not calculated on that growth. That's all yours to keep. Ours is just the first year, right? So we do this just, quite frankly, to be different and to be easy to work with. So as with any pay for performance or contingency fee type of arrangement, there's a baseline creation process that is critical. Sometimes it can be tricky with other firms. With us, it's not. We create a very simple, easy to understand baseline via email with you. And it can vary depending on whether this is a new product purchase or an old renewal. Generally speaking, if you're a renewal customer, which 8 out of 10 of our customers are renewals, they just want to save money. We just use your last price paid, your last order forms, and we say this is what you were paying before our engagement, right? Typically, that's how we do it. So it's a very, very easy, fair, simple process. So our next steps, if you're interested in working with us, we're very, very stringent on confidentiality. So what we do immediately after our initial conversation, or sometimes even prior to our initial conversation, if the prospective client is interested, is establish a mutual non-disclosure immediately before our conversation. That's to ensure that we can easily communicate with you some of the tips and tricks, if you will, before we even become a client, as well as you can share information with us that is company confidential. After we sign that MNDA, you share those materials with us. We identify if there's an opportunity. If there is an opportunity, we'll tell you exactly what it is. We'll give you some options to work with us, and then we'll go into the contracting process. It's a very, very simple, streamlined process. We've been working on it a lot. I'm a process nut myself. I really want this to be simple and easy process to work with as a client, and so that's how we developed it. We are a Microsoft Office 365 shop. We operate everything off of Microsoft SharePoint. You create planner boards, kickoff. Everything is protected in a secure client space that we make directly for you, right? We have all sorts of case studies. We obviously are pretty good at this, and we're proud of it. We've saved companies millions and millions of dollars over the years. That's why I started the company, to just, quite frankly, expand our knowledge base across other companies. We love what we do. So we've saved lots and lots of money. So that's pretty self-evident. You can look at these case studies yourself when you click on the link below to get this deck for yourself, or check out our website where we have lots of other case studies as well. So that's it for this presentation. I hope you found this valuable. We would love to talk to you about an opportunity to help you save lots and lots of money. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks so much.